Hello everyone, I'm Marcelle Rose, registered nutritional therapist and health coach, and I specialise with helping people to fix their complicated relationship with food. I'm here for the fourth and final session of the Community Health Project. I hope you found it really useful and helpful and picked up lots of tips, tricks, and used lots of new recipes in your time during lockdown. Now, if you've missed any of the sessions, don't worry, you can always catch up with them here in the group, and they don't have to be taken part in any particular order. So let's get started. So, as with the other weeks, we're going to be focusing on improving your health at home, increasing your energy, feeling good, and perhaps even losing a few pounds. And just around 15 minutes of video, but hopefully you will be spending a bit of time working on the challenges set for you. So the theme for this week is how to balance your plate and balance your energy. And we'll be looking at easy to assemble family meals. So this week we're focusing on how to put together a balanced meal and how this supports good energy levels and general well-being. So there are many different ways to present the balanced plate. And if you search on Google, you'll probably find dozens of different ways to illustrate this. But this picture is a really good representation of the proportions we're aiming for. And I will say more about how we can achieve this in a very practical and simple way without measuring or weighing anything. So if you've caught up with the last videos, we talked about blood sugar balance before, and how that eating balanced meals, which include good quality macronutrients, and that's protein, fats, carbohydrates, ensure that we have steady supply of the nutrients we need to keep our energy levels up. So this curve reminds us of the importance of balance and how we need to try and achieve that balance, keep our blood sugar balance, and we're more likely to not have cravings, not have highs and lows. It's also helpful to keep our mood on balance as well. So we need to understand something about portion sizes as well. So let's have a look at that now. So first we need to look at the size of our plates. Now you may be surprised to learn that the size of our dinner plates has increased over the last 20 to 30 years, and current dinner plates are generally around 11 to 12 inches, but they used to be only around 7 to 9 inches. In the US, it's common for plates to be 13 inches. We suggest using dinner plates that are no more than 11 inches. And using a smaller plate is reported to leave you feeling more satiated, even when food quantity stays the same. So when you look at this optical illusion, just notice how the black circle on the right looks bigger, but in fact they're both the same. So this makes a good case for smaller plates. Now, this is a helpful guideline around portions, and it's to balance your plate with a quarter of it with protein foods, a quarter with starchy carbohydrates, and a quarter of the plate with non-starchy veg and salad, and aiming for a wide variety of colours. Now, as you can see, the guidelines are simple, filling half your plate with non-starchy veg and 1/4 protein and 1/4 starchy carbs. And this is visual and it's an approximate measure which can work really well. However, when cooking integrated dishes such as soups and stews, it can be a little bit more difficult to visually assess the ratios. But the balanced portions make a good starting place, and you can adjust according to your lifestyle. For example, on high exercise days, you may need more fuel and you would like to perhaps increase your starchy carb portion. On other days, you may leave out the starchy carbs and replace it with veggies. And this is very easy to switch and to make, and makes it really provide for greater balanced eating. Now, here are some common starchy carb substitutes that many people really enjoy. We've got rice or couscous replacement with cauliflower rice. You can replace mashed potato perhaps with mashed cauliflower, mashed butternut squash, butter beans, celeriac, for example. And these are all more slow releasing carbohydrates rather than just the mashed potato. You've got, instead of roast potato, you could perhaps roast butternut squash, again or roasted sweet potato or other veggies. Instead of using spaghetti, you could do courgette, which is just spiralized courgettes, or you can even do it with a basic veggie peeler as well. But getting a basic spiralizer is a really useful addition, actually, if you're into this. And I would recommend, if you're having courgette, to not cook the courgette, just do it raw and then add your hot pasta sauce on top of it, and that will lightly steam it, and that will be enough. Otherwise, courgette can go really sloppy and not very appealing when it's been cooked. You can use sliced aubergine in lasagna instead of pasta sheets. Instead of using a bread roll for burgers, you could use a large portobello mushroom. That works really well. Just pop it in the oven and or under the grill, and then use that instead. Or you can use large lettuce leaves for wraps, and I find that works really well actually with the kids. They find that quite fun. If you've eating family style on the table, you can put your lettuce leaf wraps and then all the different things to sort of build a nice kind of wrap combination, and that gets the kids sort of trying things out, and they quite enjoy that. So what about portion sizes? Now, an alternative approach for estimating the relative amounts of each macronutrient is using our own hands. And this works well because it takes account of people with different statures. So a 6-foot man will have larger hands than a 5-foot woman, for example. And this guideline suggests that the protein portion is approximately the size of the palm of your hand, and the starchy carbohydrate portion is the size of your fist. And then you have 2 handfuls of veggies and just a thumb's worth of fat. Now let's have a closer look at each of the components of the balanced plate. So first of all, we're going to look at proteins. So you have your dairy and eggs here, butter, milk, that's an animal protein, your eggs. Then you've got your meat, poultry, and fish. Now, proteins digest and break down into amino acids, and they are referred to our building blocks. Proteins include all these things mentioned, but there are vegetarian options as well. So things like beans, quinoa, and tofu and tempeh are vegetarian options too. So let's have a look at those. There we go, some tofu there. Nuts and seeds as well, important protein option for vegetarians and non-vegetarians alike. And here are things, all the different lentils, beans, chickpeas, also really important for vegetarians to get enough of this kind of protein in their diet. So now let's look at fats. So good quality fats are important for many processes in the body and are good for hormones and healthy skin. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So we've got our healthy oils, so things like olive oil and healthy seed oils, so like flaxseed oil there. Oh, there's the olive oil on the second slide there. We've got oily fish, really, really key for our omega-3 fats, so important for brain health and for mood. And these include things like salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines. Then we've got coconuts and coconut oil. There's been a lot of controversy in the past few years about that, but actually all the evidence says that points to the fact that actually it is a healthy fat And it's a really good fat to cook with, coconut oil, because it doesn't oxidize at high temperatures like most other vegetable fats do. And then you've got the lovely avocados, providing some lovely healthy fats and easy to incorporate into most meals. So for balanced energy, it's important with carbohydrates to choose whole grains over the white refined carbohydrates. So let's have a look at some examples here. So you've got your potatoes, your baby new potatoes. You've got the whole grains here, so whole grain breads, rye bread, a good quality whole grain, because some brown breads really, I think they're often, you find that the brown bread, sometimes they're just even dyed brown. They don't even contain much fibre. And there you can see lots of different grains here. And you can go for whole grain pasta, brown rice pasta. There's lots of different alternatives now on the market to regular white pasta. And the difference is that these contain your fibre still, which helps to balance your blood sugar. And it also contains nutrients that are stripped out of white refined carbohydrates. So you've got some brown rice there instead of white rice as well. And then again, going for different, more starchy veg as well. Now, what about the non-starchy carbohydrates? So remember, you can always replace the starchy carbohydrates with the non-starchy carbohydrates, which give a great balancing effect. So let's have a look at these. So as we discussed, you can go for courgette, you can go for squashes and aubergines and mushrooms as replacements. And obviously lots of salad, lots of variety. The more you can get in your diet, the better. And let's look at why it's so important to eat balanced meal plates. So it supports stable energy levels. It ensures that meals are nutrient rich, especially when they include the rainbow foods. They're higher in fibre, which means they keep you fuller for longer. Encourages a wider variety of foods in your diet and helps to support a stable weight. So let's have a look at balanced meals and that include all the macronutrients, protein, fats, carbs, and which are the popular family and what we can do about popular family meals here. So a tray bake, love a tray bake where the entire meal is cooked in one dish. An example here shows chicken cooked with rainbow veg, served with a drizzle of olive oil, freshly squeezed lemon, herbs and seasoning. And this works well with fish and vegan options. You could do fresh tofu cubes as well. So it's great because minimal washing up too, which is always helpful. Stir fries is another £1 dish cooking experience, including a range of veg. So example here is of beef and broccoli stir fry, but obviously you can use anything. You can do veg options, you can do chicken options, you can throw in some fish. Makes it really, really easy. And then this is an example of a vegan salad served with nuts and pomegranate seeds. And the best part about these simple assembly meals is that you don't need a recipe. You just pick out what you have in the fridge and the store cupboard and just get creative with it. And you can, of course, serve with whole grains, rice, noodles, a wrap, and more veggies. So let's have a look at the recipes for this week. We've included the mixed bean chili here, which is a lovely vegetarian recipe. Suitable also for vegans, and again you're getting that protein and you're getting the carbs from the beans, so it's a really lovely simple recipe. And you've got also some herbs and spices and mushrooms in there and tomatoes, so you're actually getting a nice bit of variety there, And you can, of course, serve this with sliced avocados, with quinoa or cauliflower rice, or just salad, whatever you want, really. Then you've got ginger chicken here. This is a lovely stir-fry idea. And of course, again, you can switch out the chicken for maybe perhaps some tofu tempeh, or you can switch out for some fish or meat. You can do lots of stuff. You can throw in some nuts as well. Cashew nuts work well. Really delicious, tasty meal. So what will you do differently this week to move your health forward? Could you start to look at balancing your plates? So perhaps start with the next few days. Start to plan ahead, because it is all in the planning. And the planning makes all the difference, I promise you. Otherwise, we find ourselves scrabbling around and then just eating whatever we can, and that's when it all goes a bit pear-shaped. And also thinking about how you can adjust family favourites so that they balance more. So just to go back to that, so for example, you could balance spaghetti bolognese, you could serve it with a side salad or courgette noodles, or perhaps adding in, replacing some of the meat with lentils, for example, or adding in some more veggies into the bolognese sauce. Cottage pie, you could try mashed cauliflower as a topping, a mixture of potato and cauliflower perhaps if you're just starting this. And fish and chips, increase the serving of peas and salad and a smaller portion of chips. So can you think of your own examples? And I would say getting the kids involved with this really can help, gives them something to get stuck into, gets them involved, more likely to eat the healthier meals, get them to give you some ideas, and perhaps give them, if they're old enough, the chance to cook or try something themselves. And do use the meal planner that we have. I will send through to you in the group. I'll show you this now. So if you use the meal planner, it really helps get you focused for the week. Write down what meals, make your shopping list, and then boom, if you're doing online orders, it makes it so much easier rather than just randomly selecting stuff. You're less likely to also have stuff left over and going off and having to throw away food, which is always good. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you found it useful. Do catch up on the weeks 1 to 3 if you missed any. They don't have to, as I said, they don't have to be done in order. They can all be helpful. Would love to hear your feedback if this has been helpful to you. Or comments or questions, please just comment or ask questions below. I'd love to hear from you. Take care and have a wonderful, healthy week.